Welcome. We are here with a library preschool reading group and we have a special book to present. Are you guys ready for our story?
Yay!
Oh, good. All right. So we have a special story today about two amazing young boys named Rich and Jimbo. You ready to start?
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Once upon a time in a land far, far away, past the sun, the moon, and the seven seas, I dare say, lived two young handsome lads, rather curious sorts, who entered of magical realms as their mental resorts. And so they would dream of magical creatures, of dragons and castles with beautiful features, of trolls and fairies from ancient lore, enjoying childhood freedom of time galore. Yet as the boys grew from little to tall, the two did not remain similar at all. Jimbo really was quite the intuitive fellow, and spoke his mind with a bellow. You have brains in your head and feet in your shoes, why you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. The more that you read, the more things you'll know. The more that you'll learn, the more places you'll go. But Richard did not like books, not one bit, not at all. Bugs Bunny and Tweety were his downfall, and so he remained on the couch all day, watching cartoons on TV, to his mother's dismay. But mostly the lads were normalish boys, and had the sort of lives that are chock full of joys. They were happy, active, and generally glad, until they got sick, and felt dreadfully sad. Jim went to the doctor and listened close, and read about his pills to take the right dose. By paying attention to what the doc was saying, he had no messing up, no strain. But Rich, on the other hand, was so confused, he didn't know the words the doctor would use. He had no idea what the pills were about. Too bored to read, all he did was scream and shout. Both boys had the same problem to face that day. Jim listened and read and felt well right away. Rich couldn't understand the bottle or what the doc said. Poor Rich, he was frustrated at his silly old head. Counting the days to that time of year, why festivities were fast drawing near. Birthdays, oh the fun, friends and cake, the latter the boys attempted to make. Delicious and bite-sized treats he should make. Jimbo decided cupcakes he would bake. Checking the steps, a small problem arose. Out of sugar, a substitute I propose. It says to use honey, a sweet option I guess, and hopefully my cupcakes will be a success. So by reading and thinking, Jimbo's cakes were divine, and his school friends agreed Jimbo's cooking was fine. At home, Rich pondered his recipe card. I've seen Mom make cupcakes, it can't be too hard. Too much to read, too many steps to do. Rich chucked the card and without further ado, attempted to bake, but his cupcakes weren't sweet. Alas, his sugar and butter were instead salt and wheat. If only Rich had read or just asked for advice, his cakes could have been tasty, not yucky mushed spice. Summertime came and a fun vacation was planned. Rich and Jimbo both traveled to a faraway land. New scenery and landscape every which way they looked, but only one of them had packed a handy travel guidebook. Jimbo was inspired by the history, culture, and food, while Rich walked around in circles in a frustrated mood. Jimbo saw each tourist attraction, Rick Steve would be proud. While Rich bumbled through places he wasn't allowed. The best part of the vacation, a trip to the zoo, elephants and zebras and a baby kangaroo. Jimbo's guidebook held all the tips of the trade, what to see, what to do, and how not to get sprayed. The time had come to say their goodbyes. Both boys would miss the weather and breathtaking skies. So through sickness and birthdays and faraway travel, different life paths for Jimbo and Rich unraveled. Now although both did well and ended up fine, Jimbo was much quicker to do well and shine. For Jimbo read much in all the time he could find, but Rich preferred not to use his mind. Now you could say how silly we all know how to read, but studies show the more you read, you succeed. You'll understand bigger words that others say. You'll better communicate with people from far away. Reading more about science, you'll take care of your health. Or read economics to better understand wealth. Read and imagine other people's minds. It might then be easy to forgive and be kind. There are so many things that reading can do, so Jimbo agrees and Rich now does too. When on the bus, or perhaps on the loo, it's a great time to read for YOU. Now parents, here's a note for you about reading and being read to. We use a word called prevalence to speak of something's occurrence. The prevalence of success in school is tied to reading as a rule. Results are in, the studies show, when your child reads, success follows. But in the province FSA, reading results are not okay. 1 in 6 kids is below par. Reading's required to raise the bar.